Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video we'll be painting up Barry Burton from the Resident Evil Boardgame by Steamforged Games. It's the fourth video in the series, the last of the main four characters from the base board game. He has previously been washed in washed with a warm bowl of water and washing up liquid to get off any release agent, which is quite important because otherwise the paint doesn't seem to stick on very well at all. And then then he has been sprayed with Army Painter Brainmatter Beige. It's a nice base colour, base coat I find. So let's get started, shall we? We'll first go in with Cadian Flesh Tone. Give it a shake up. Get a bit on my brush. Get it on our wet palette. Water it down there, as you can see, with a bit of water. And the wet palette I'm using today is from Army Painter. I find it very, very good. So I highly advise using one yourself. Keeps your paints moistened and it makes them last longer. Stops them from drying out so quick. And I'll get his skin done and then I'll be back. Okay, so that's the skin finished. She left the beard and the hair because it's going to be done in browns later. Next up I'm going to do his trousers. So with this I'm going to go in with Eshin Grey. It might seem dark at the minute, but it will be highlighted up slightly better. So give it a pot of shake. Again, we want to water it down. Just helps it flow better. And we'll get it all over the trousers. It's going to need a couple of coats because as you can see, because we're thinning it down, the part of the base colour is still showing through. So we'll get that done and we'll be back. There you go, as you can see that paint's still drying. It still needs another coat on it, but because I'm impatient and want to film the next bit, we'll go on to his jacket, his body warmer. So I can't tell if this is meant to be a reddish brown or more of a sort of darkish pink, but I'm going to go with the reddish brown. So I'm going to start off with a Doombull Brown as the base and see how it turns out. This is a more reddish brown. So get it on the brush. And then we'll just start filling in on the down on the vest. Right, so try to keep it off the t-shirt bits there and here, because they're going to stay that colour. They're going to stay white because that's what it appears to be in the artwork. We'll finish that and hopefully finish another coat of the trousers and we'll be back. Okay, so that's slightly better. I might go another coat on the torso, but I'm going to jump into the next step, which is Rhinox Hide. So on his boots in the photos he's got a slight bit of brown on his boots. So not like he's stepped in dog shit or anything, but just his boots have some brown intentionally on there. It's like around this area here. So it comes down the side and around the back, I think, like that. So I will do that and see how it turns out. I may just cover it all in black and just be lazy and go for black boots, but we'll see. I'll finish that and we'll be back. Okay, so it's still drying slightly, but with his boots, his trousers, and his body vest mostly undercoated. Next, I'm going to go in with Black Legion contrast paint by Citadel. And this is going to be all the black bits. So it's going to be the rest of his boots, and his gloves generally. His yeah, I think that's it on there. The rest is all his satchels and stuff and pouches and belts are going to be brown. So let's get this open. Get started. So we want his boots. That's right. This will probably need 2 coats to get the good coverage. His boots and his gloves. Trying to stay away from the skin. I've already painted in. I'll get that finished and we'll be back. Okay, so that's the gloves done. Next, what I'm going to do is, because I want to get the jacket right, I'm going to go over it in Berserker Bloodshade to hopefully give it that reddish tint. See how that turns out. See how it dries, and I may put another coat on with that once that's dry. May need another coat. Okay, so while that's drying, we're going to go in and do his hair. So for this, we're going to use Skrag Brown. It's actually going to be a similar colour that we're going to use on his belt, but we'll just do the hair for the minute whilst we wait for that to dry. This paint is starting to run thin, I think. Let's get on his hair. This will probably need a couple of coats. And may need darkening down as well. Might need a couple of washes. Looking very blonde at the minute, but hopefully it will dry darker. I'll just do his beard as well. Okay, so next up we want to do all his satchels and his belt as Mournfang Brown. Give that a shake. And same with every step, we want to water it down. Not too much, just enough to make it flow nicely. And that fill in all the bits that need to be this colour. That's the pouches on him. Satchel at the back. These bits. His belt. Get that finished and we'll be back. That'll probably need 2 coats, I'd imagine. Yeah, 2 coats, I think. We'll be back. Okay, so that's the satchels done, and his belts and that. I also did the handle with his gun, because this gun's I know I usually do them just black and highlight them, but because this is a very distinct gun, this is his Magnum, which is a silver colour with a sort of wooden handle. I will go in next then with Leadbelcher to do that. I'll also do all the buckles on his belts, this colour as well. Like so. Then we also want to do his belts. Belt buckle. Like that. And any other buckles you see. One there. And we'll get the rest done and we'll be back. Okay, so that's the buckles, all the silver's done. I did his watch as well. Okay, so next step we are going to do his badge on his arm. Again, we just go in with Kantor Blue. And we're not too fussed, well, I'm not too fussed about the details on this. If you wish to go into extreme details, then you can, but Actually, I just want the basics done on this. So you want to hit it with blue. This might need a few coats just to get good coverage. So I'll get a few coats on there, we'll be back. Okay, so it's badge done. Next step, we're going to come in with the washes now. So for his arms, anything browns apart from the vest is going to be washed in Reikland Flesh shade. His trousers and his boots, his gloves and his gun can be washed with Nuln Oil, and the white t-shirt underneath. Yeah, so we'll get to that and we'll be back. Just starting off with Nuln Oil. Give it a shake. And this is all over his trousers, his belt, any of the little buckles as well. You can hit like so. You want it a tad watered down when you come to the shoulders. What you need to do is get a bit on your wet palette, like so. Get a bit of water, mix it in, and then just the shoulder, like so. We don't want it too dark. We just want it in the recesses. We will be highlighting back up to an almost perfect white. So I'll finish doing that and we'll be back to do the Reikland Flesh shade. Okay, so that's still drying. So next we want to do Reikland Flesh shade, and this is going to be over the flesh areas and the light brown areas. So his arms, his satchels, his head, his face, all over his hair. So darken down that hair as well because that seemed a bit light, but we'll see what it turns out as. Finish that up and we'll be back. So I'm just letting that dry now. I had to go over it again annoyingly because I messed up and didn't check the pot, so the Reikland Flesh shade came out shiny. So I was shaking it up and putting another coat over, so it might be a bit darker. But whilst we wait for that to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to start on his boots. So, I mean, like you could leave this as tabletop ready, more or less. Might want to lighten up his skin tone, but I think he's pretty good. So let's start off with his boots. So you want to go in with Rhinox Hide and a Mournfang Brown 50-50 mix, just to give this a little bit of a highlight. Mournfang Brown. Now you should clean your brush before dipping it in, but I'm a rebel without a cause. Okay. This is just for the boots. Very fine. Like that. They're meant to be quite dark anyway, so you don't want them to brighten them up too much, but just enough so you can see that there's a difference in colour between the black and the brown. There you have it. Boots. We leave it there for the boots anyway, for the brown part of the boots at least. Okay. So we're going to go in with Eshin Grey, and this is for the trousers. Get a little bit on our brush. We've got a bit there, so it's already watered down there. And just leaving a little bit in the gaps, in the recesses even. We just want to bring that original colour back before it was darkened out by the Nuln Oil. Like I said, keeping keeping out of the recesses. We want the shadows. I'll finish that and we will be back. Okay, so that's that stage. Brought it back up again. So whilst we still got this Eshin Grey on the wet palette, we're going to get Grey Seer and mix it in to get a sort of a mid-tone somewhere between the Eshin Grey and super bright. A bit too bright there. Get a little bit of Eshin Grey and just mix it back in and just keep going until you're happy. There you go, it's a bit better, a bit darker. This is going to be the top highlights. Of all the creases outside. Again, I've said it 1,000 times, anywhere the light will hit. Finish up, and then we're going to the next step. Okay, so it's trousers done. I put a little bit extra Grey Seer on mixed in with the Eshin Grey for an even further highlight, and just almost did like a spot highlight of the very highest places, like on the knees, the very fine bits on like the creases and stuff. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So next I'm actually going to go in with and do the skin. First highlight of Cadian Flesh Tone. Shake. We just want to pick out all the. We want to get 90% of the skin back to this colour, just leaving the shade in the recesses. Really accentuates his muscles then. His big, not crisp, boulder punching arms. Yeah. So we'll finish off with the rest of it and I'll be back. Next we're going to go in with Kislev Flesh. Again for the higher points. Don't want too much on. Bridge of his nose, forehead, tops of his ears, cheekbones. And we want top of his muscles, his arm, and his fingers. Like so. Yeah, there you go. Right, so next up we're going to attempt his vest. So I'm thinking if I mix the original colour, Doombull Brown, with maybe a bit of Mephiston Red, it may start bringing out the red colour of his jacket. So let's see how this turns out. A little bit on a brush, a little bit there, clean it, and then a bit of Mephiston Red. No idea what colour this is going to turn out with, but we shall try. Okay, that's doable, I think. So let's get started with this. Too much on the brush. I keep filling that in. I think that's quite a nice red, reddy brown. Actually really pleased with that, how the red's coming out. So I'm actually gonna, for another highlight, I'm gonna add even more Mephiston Red to the previous mix to make it even brighter. Hopefully that'll be a nice top red. Let's see how it goes down. So off on your thumb. You want these to be the very top edges. There we go. I just quite like that. That's turned out quite nice. Like so. I don't think it's that far off reference photo. Not amazing, but even so, I'm happy with it, and I think I will leave it. I think I'll leave it there. Alright, next up we want to go in with P3 Morrow White, and this is for the t-shirt, so his shoulders basically. Again, a little bit of water there. Just bring that back up to a nice highlight. Could leave it with the Nuln Oil. It just makes it look a bit dirty, like he's been sweating a bit, running around the mansion, murdering things. But I want them to look clean, like they've just entered the mansion. There you go. Whilst I had that Morrow White out, I decided to do the surround of the badge. Now to finish off the badge, I'm just going to go with Averland Sunset and do the 3 little dots for each of the separate stars that are on the badge. Really have this. I might have spilled too much there. There you have it. The next bit is a bit of highlighting on the satchels and the belts and such watch, and that will be Skrag Brown. You know words. And a brush. If it looks too bright as you're putting it on, don't worry, it darkens as it dries. Like so, and then just his belts and back. And his satchel. Yep. And shoulder. And there you have it. That's his belts done. Always go over it a second time just to reinforce the highlight where it's dried. Like I said, it does dry quite darker than the original colour. If you just want to go over the top bits again with another round, then it will darken it, brighten it up again. And then the edges, and then happy days. Happy with that? And next we want Leadbelcher. This is just to re-highlight the gun and any buckles. So just to brighten up again. It's not quite so dark. These buckles. That's just to give that shine on, because it might have lost a bit of its shine with the shade, so we want to catch in the light a little bit. There we go. So he's very nearly complete now. So the last bit we need to do is his boots. So start Reaper. A bit of shake. A bit of a wet palette. And then just on the curves of his boots. Curves of his boots, like that. His laces. That bit's here. Well, they might catch the light. You want to do the top of his gloves. And the knuckles. Fingers, each individual bit. So. And the back of his glove. There. Go back over it just to strengthen the highlight. Just a tad. And there. Okay. Final highlight. We want to go in with Ulthuan Grey. This is just the finest of highlights. You want to thin it down in your wet palette. And then just the tip of the boots. Just a tiny bit of the laces. Like so. Then his gloves. Like so. And then top of this glove. Then that little bit that's on the back of the glove. And the fingers. There you go. And there you have it. That's Barry Burton, 90% done. 99% done. I've just got to do his eyes. But I'll do that off camera because it's quite fiddly. I need to concentrate for that. And we'll be back after I've done that. And there you have it, one Barry Burton. One thing I might actually do, I'm not completely convinced with the colour of his hair. It's quite bright. So I think I'm going to go in with a quick wash. The beard I think is okay. I'm going to run over the rest of the hair and Agrat Third Shade just to darken it a little bit. Because I think it's just slightly too bright. Might actually water it down a bit before I do. Just to think we'll make it a bit darker. And I think that would work quite well. So there you have it. Barry Burton. The great one-liner. The king of one-liners. The father. The good father. Yeah. Barry Burton. Might try and improve the eye, but now I think he's done alright. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Every single sub means a lot to me at the moment. Only on 111 as of doing this painting video. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, I have a PayPal in the description. So please, any donations will be very well received. But yeah, anyway, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now. Say bye, Barry. Bye, Barry.